Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. So now we are in a new chapter, which is chapter 5, hydrocarbon. There are two subtopics altogether, which is 5.1 alkenes and 5.2 alkenes. Alright, so in this video, we're going to look into the 5.1 first, which is alkene, part 1 of the video. So in this video, we're going to look into the definition and classification of hydrocarbon, which is hydrocarbon can be divided into aliphatic and aromatic hydrocarbon. They can also be divided into saturated and unsaturated compound. So we're going to look into that in the later slide. Also, in this video, we're going to look into the general formula of alkenes as well, which is an open chain alkene, which has a molecular formula or general formula of CnH2n plus 2. Meanwhile, for cycloalkene, you're going to have CnH2n. Okay, for example, if we have cyclohexane, okay, cyclohexane got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon. So the general formula going to be C6H2 multiplied by 6 because of this general formula. So you're going to get C6H12 because one of each carbon going to attach with 2 hydrogen. Okay, so you're going to do that for all the carbon atom. Alright, meanwhile for the open chain alkene, you're going to have plus 2 because it is an open structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here will end with 3 and 3, and this one going to have 2 each. Alright, and after we learn that, we're going to draw the structure and name the compound according to the IUPAC nomenclature. So nomenclature here means naming. IUPAC means based on the international, which is referred to I. U refer to Union, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So we're going to do the naming for the straight chain and branch alkene, as well as we're going to do for the cyclic alkene, and as well as the alkyl group. For cyclic alkene, we're going to look at that in the next part of the video. So without any further ado, let us start. So for hydrocarbon basically contain only carbon and hydrogen atom. So hydrocarbon can be classified into two main types, which is aliphatic hydrocarbon, which refers to HC, as well as the aromatic hydrocarbon. So aliphatic contains of alkene, alkenes, and alkyne, where alkene have all single bond, alkene will have double bond, and alkyne will have triple bond. So cycloalkane will also be considered as the aliphatic hydrocarbon. For aromatic, it will be containing the aromatic or the benzene ring. Okay, it will have a molecular formula of C6H6, which refers to the benzene ring. Or if you were to expand that, you will have a formula of C6H6 here. Okay, and as you know, the benzene ring can also be drawn as the circle at the middle. So all of these three will be accepted for the aromatic compound. At the same time, hydrocarbon can also be classified into two main types, which is the saturated hydrocarbon as well as the unsaturated hydrocarbon. For the saturated hydrocarbon, it basically contains only carbon single bond, and it has no multiple bond. So it is said that the saturated hydrocarbon will have the maximum number of bonded hydrogen atom because all the carbon will be used up with for bonding. Okay, and alkenes, and the example are alkenes and cycloalkane, where alkane will have a general formula of CnH2n plus 2 as mentioned, as well as the cycloalkane, which is CnH2n. So we have methane and cyclopentane here, which is example of saturated hydrocarbon. Meanwhile, for unsaturated hydrocarbon, it contains multiple bond, for example, alkene or alkyne, as well as the arene, which is the aromatic compound. Okay. Now we're going to focus on the nomenclature of the alkene. Nomenclature here naming the name of the alkene. Alright. So before you go any further, you need to know the parent name. For example, the parent name will be depending on the number of carbon that is present in the alkene. Alright, so if you have one carbon, the name gonna be methane. If you have two carbon, 1 and 2 here, the name gonna be ethane. If you have 3, the name gonna be propane, and if you have 4, the name gonna be butane. Number 5 and number 10 will be the similar name as what you have learned in mathematics. For example, 5 carbon gonna be pentagon, but because it refers to alkane, it's gonna be pentane. Where A and E here, A and E, A and E, and A and E here refers to the class of alkane. Meanwhile, the front part refers to the number of carbon. If 6, in mathematics, you will call it hexagon. But because it refers to alkane, it's going to be hexane. Same goes to the others. Heptane come from heptagon. Alright, so you need to know the parent chain first, which is the number of the carbon atom that present in the alkane. Okay, and so this is where the name are coming from. Next, you need to know the substituent. The substituents are the branch group that is attaching to the alkane, which is the parent. For example, the methyl group here, and the CH2, CH3, or can be simplified as C2H5. So the CH3, just now you have looked into CH4, which is methane. So methane is the parent group, but when it is acting as a branch, it will be named as methyl. Meanwhile here, which is CH2, CH3, in the previous slide, which is the parent name, C2H6 refer to ethane. But when it is acting as a substituent of the branch group, it will be named as ethyl. Okay, so what it meant by branch group here is basically, for example, if you have a structure of cyclopentane and one of the branch here, and the branch here is known as the branch group or the substituent. So in this case, it will be named as methyl cyclopentane because here gonna refer to CH3. CH3 refer to methyl. Okay, and the other name that is also you need to know is written here. So if got 3, gonna be N-propyl, or the propyl which arranged isometrically is known as isopropyl, and these are the other things that you have to know. This include the halogen, for example, let's say Cl. So the substituent here will be known as chloro. If Br, known as bromo. Alright? And these can also be the branch group. For example, if you have a group to be something like this is known as the neopentyl. If you have cycloalkene as the substituent, it's going to be cyclopropyl. If the cycle will have 1, 2, 3, 4, and it becoming the branch, it's going to be cyclobutyl. Alright, if the benzene ring going to be the substituent, or written as C6H5, it will be known as the phenyl substituent. Okay, and if the phenyl is attached with CH2 and attached with another parent chain, it will be named as benzyl group. Alright, so this situation can happen when the carbon chain is very, very long, and then one of the substituent is attached with a benzene. Okay, so the benzene ring here, which acting as the substituent ataupun branch group yang rangkaian tadi tu, dinamakan sebagai phenyl group. Alright, and these are also the other stuff of the substituent, rangkaian yang boleh wujud di parent chain. Okay, so let us look into how we can name the alkane step by step. So on step 1, we have to find the longest continuous carbon chain of the carbon atom. Yang paling panjang tadi tu akan dinamakan sebagai parent name. Okay, ataupun nama asas untuk alkane tersebut. Alright. So if the two different chains of equal chain are present, of equal length are present, choose the one with the most number of substituent. So mula-mula we have to find the longest continual chain of the carbon atom. So in this case, I will say that here gonna be the longest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven carbon chain which I suspect the longest. I cannot do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it is still very short. I cannot do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because it is still short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the longest. Or if I want to do it from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 also possible. So let's look at that. Okay, let's say this is number, I can use this one, or I can also use this one, either that side or this side lah. Doesn't matter because it's still the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now as what you can read here, if two different chains of equal length are present, we have to choose the one with the most number of substituent. So if they have the same length, we have to pick the one that has the most number of branching. So as what you can see in the situation A here, the branching we will have 1, 2, and 3. Meanwhile, for situation B, we will have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we will select structure B, which is the situation B here, because it has more substituent. The same compound, but we will choose the one that will get us the most number of branching. Okay, and number 2 here, we have to identify and name the substituent. For example, the CH3 we will be known as the methyl group. The CH2 CH3 here will be known as the ethyl group. Okay, now we can name the alkane because we know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gonna be heptane, heptagon 7. So ada jadi heptane. Okay, and now we can name our substituent. We have methyl here, we have methyl here, we have methyl here, and here we have ethyl. Okay, so now we can put it methyl here and the ethyl here. Okay, we need to write ethyl at the front because we follow alphabetical order. Okay, kita kena follow turutan A, B, C, D, E dan sampai Z lah. So for this case, E will come first. So that is why we put ethyl first. Alright, so we have to follow the alphabetical order. And then because we have 1, 2, 3, ada 3, so the name gonna be trimethyl. Alright, now for the next step, we have to number the carbon atom. So we can do the numbering from here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 carbon chain, and then for step number 4, you can state the position of the substituent rangkaian tadi and name the hydrocarbon straight away. So in this case, you know that the ethyl will be situated at carbon number 3. So you can put it as 3 ethyl here. Okay. Okay, sorry. So in this situation, you can see that the ethyl is situated at carbon number 3. So it's gonna be 3 ethyl. Meanwhile, the methyl here is situated at carbon number 2. So it's gonna be 2 methyl. The next branch here will be situated at carbon number 4. So it's gonna be 4 methyl. The next substituent here is situated at carbon number 5, going to be 5 methyl. So now you have no other number here. So you can put the trimethyl to be 2, 4, and 5. 2, 4, and 5, which refer to a trimethyl. 3 methyl group tadi. Meanwhile, the ethyl gonna get the number 3. Okay. So the general rule here, the number is gonna be separated with the letter by the dash. Okay. So tadi nombor akan dipisahkan dengan abjad dengan menggunakan dash. That is why when we write the word, we will have dash and then the number again. So number with number, we will separate it with a comma. Okay, but when it comes to the words ding again, it will be a dash. All right. Okay, so this is gonna be our full name. Okay, and some of you might say, sir, why can't we write the number from 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here, 6 and 7 here? Why can't we do that? Okay, the answer is that because we need to get the lowest number possible for the first substituent. So just now using my way, number 3 ethyl, right? But if you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to be 5 ethyl, which is higher. For naming, we need to get the lowest number possible. All right. To understand more about this, let us look into the next slide. Okay. So for the nomenclature of alkane, if the location of the two substituents are the same from both ends of the main chain, assign the lower number alphabetically to the first substituent. Okay, so let's say if you have this structure here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, at the same time, you might suspect that, oh, can I do the naming from here to there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have two situations, the one in blue or the one in red. Which one is the correct one? So ethyl, which is E, its situation is situated at carbon number 3. Methyl, which is this one, is situated at carbon number 3. Okay, so we have the two situation here. Okay, but we have to follow the ethyl because it is alphabetical. So you need to emphasize on the E first because A, B, C, D, E. So E come first before M. Jadi kita kena pilih ethyl dahulu dan ethyl tu mesti nombor yang paling rendah at C3. Not the methyl dekat C3. Jadi what we want to do is that we need to select the one in blue, not the one in red. Okay, so the blue one is the right way because it's gonna give the naming as 3 ethyl or else it's gonna be 4 ethyl. So we need to choose the one that is the lowest. Okay, so here the red color one is the wrong way. Okay, so if 2 or more different substituents are present, write them in the alphabetical order. So just now you have known that the blue color is correct. So you know that 3 refers to ethyl and 4 refers to methyl. Okay, so you can do with the parent chain first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is hexane, and then ethyl first because we follow the alphabetical order, and then we have methyl. So the methyl is situated at carbon number 4 and ethyl will be situated at carbon number 3. Okay, alright. However, when 2 or more substituents are identical, indicate these prefixes using di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, and so on. Okay, so this is what I mentioned just now. For example, in this case, 1, 2, 3. So number 2 here is connected with 2 methyl group. So when they have 2 methyl, we call it dimethyl. Okay, However, bila dekat naming, we ignore the die. We're going to focus on the M. Okay, so in deciding the alphabetical order, ignore prefixes such as di, tri, and tetra. Okay, for example, here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 longest carbon chain. So the naming here gonna be no name because 9, and then the ethyl gonna be situated at carbon number 3. Okay, so it's gonna be 3 ethyl. The methyl, which is 2 group here, gonna be situated at carbon number 4 and carbon number 7. So 4, 7, because it has 2, it's gonna be dimethyl. Okay, so sepatutnya A, B, C, D. So you will think that dimethyl gonna be at the front. However, we need to ignore the prefixes. Okay, so di ini tidak dikira sebagai dalam alphabetical order. Kamu hanya tengok yang dia punya M. Alright. Nice one. Okay, bukannya 47 dimethyl. Okay, pasal kamu ingat D right, and we need to ignore the prefixes. So this one is wrong. However, prefix iso is considered part of the alkyl group name for the alphabetizing purpose. However, not sec and tert. Okay, so for example, if we have our alkyl group or the branching isopropyl and isobutyl tadi, we will be considered it under I. However, when you have sec butyl or tert butyl as the substituent, it will be listed under B. Okay, so the sec and tert will not be considered in the naming. Alright, it will not be the priority name. Okay, so now to reinforce your understanding, let us look into the naming of the hydrocarbon once again. So in this case here, which is A, we have to identify, we have to do the naming. So we have to identify the longest carbon chain first. So this is going to be our longest carbon chain, which is going to be number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So because it has 5 carbon, it's going to be pentane. And then it has 2 substituent or 2 branch group, which is methyl and methyl. So we're going to put it as methyl. Because it has 2, we're going to put it as dimethyl. And it is situated at carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. So we're going to put as 2, comma, which is to separate the number. And then to separate number with the wording, we're going to put it as dash. So it's going to be 2, 3 dash dimethyl pentane. Alright. However, you might be wondering, sir, why we cannot put it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here? Okay, we cannot follow the red number here because it's gonna be number 3 and number 4. 3, 4 dimethyl pentane. Okay, we cannot do that because we need to select the lowest number possible, or else it's gonna be 3, 4, which is not the correct naming. Alright, now we're gonna do for B. So B, we have to identify the longest carbon chain also, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so in this case, it's gonna be heptane because it has 7 group, and then the methyl group gonna be trimethyl because it's gonna have 1, 2, 3 here, and it is situated at number 2, number 3, and number 5. And at carbon number 4, it's gonna have propyl. So 4 propyl heptane. Alright, and at the same time, for this case, you can also do the naming here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, if you follow this way, you will have less substituent 1 and 2. So you cannot use you cannot do the numbering from here because you will have only two substituents. However, in the earlier slide, as mentioned that when we have the same number of carbon, we have to choose the most number of substituent, yang paling banyak rangkaian. Jadi yang warna biru tadi will have the most substituent, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So before we end, let us do another example, which is we have to explain why each of the following name is incorrect. We have to draw the structural formula and state the correct name. Okay, so 3-methyl 2-isopropylheptane. So some of you might draw it to be like this. Okay, so heptane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then one of the student wrote it as heptane and then number it as 2 and 3 here. So they thought that it's gonna be 2 isopropyl, 3 methyl, and heptane here. However, the naming here is wrong. It should be we should select the longest carbon chain first, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's gonna be an octane, and then it's gonna have a 3-methyl group, which is at number 2, number 3, number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so it's gonna be 2, 3, 4 trimethyl octane, not the naming here. The naming here is incorrect. Alright. For B, 3 isopropylpentane. So people thought that it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentane, and then at number 3 it's gonna have isopropyl. Okay, so however the naming here is wrong because you need to select the longest carbon chain first, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you have to follow the naming this way because it will give you the more number of substituent, 2 substituent. If you follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you only got 1 substituent. Okay, that is why you follow the blue color here. So based on the blue circle here, it's going to give you 2 substituent. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentane, and methyl group is attached at number 2, and ethyl is attached at number 3. So follow alphabetical order, which is 3 ethyl, 2 methyl pentane. Alright, so I think that's all for today's video. See you again some other time. Bye.